Hopefully this is working. I'm new to this. Yes, I think it is. So welcome to the study of Revelations. Um, we are going to actually only do 2 chapters today. So how's everybody doing today? Trying to learn how all this technology works. It's like, how do I do this and how do I do that? So, all right. So Revelations Bible Study, second one. We're going to, oh, I clicked the wrong thing. All right. So our outline today is we're going to start on the whole vision portion of it, which is chapters 5 through 16. But today we're only going to do chapters 5 and 6. So that'll be our start. Hey Wayne, how are you? Thanks for joining. Kind of nervous today. It's like, okay, I'm trying to do it differently than I did last time because I messed it up. So bear with me. We're going to do the review of chapters 1 through 4. I really felt like I did a disservice by rushing through chapter 4, so I really wanted to look at that again. And then we'll be discussing 5 and 6. I did go down some rabbit holes, so we'll see how that goes too. All right, so chapter 1, we just found out that John's the one that wrote the Revelations, and he was on exile in the island of Patmos, right? So that was an easy chapter 1. Chapters 2 and 3 talk about the 7 churches, and these are the 7 churches. We got to look at the map. Hey, Kathy, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Getting ready to get started here. So I wanted to go back over chapter 4 and just kind of look at it. So when I went back over it, I had to like draw myself everything because I'm like, how does this work? So then I made it here. We have the throne, the 4 beasts, and the 24 elders. And there's a lot reference that we'll see about the 7 spirits of God, which is Lord, wisdom, spirit, understanding, counsel, might, and knowledge. Then, so the 24 elders, I'm like, I got on the rabbit hole. Who were these 24 elders? Who could they possibly be? I Googled it. I tried to look it up. So far, I'm not finding an answer, but per Google, they're saying this might be just symbolic figures. Maybe the 12 tribes of Israel and the 12 apostles. So I don't know if later on we'll get a better answer to that. But I did get stuck there. This is why I like doing the Bible study, because I get stuck and then I get down these rabbit holes. And knowing that I've got to talk about it to other people, it helps me keep going. All right, then the 4 beasts. Now I did do a quick picture of the 4 beasts, but we have to remember there were 6 wings on each one, and they're full of eyes, right? So we have a lion calf, a face as a man, and I just went ahead and did a picture of a man because I'm like, all right, that gives me the picture in my mind because I like to visualize everything, and the flying eagle. So I just wanted to kind of visualize what this is so I can kind of understand what it looks like. And, you know, the different ones are singing different praises and different, chanting different sayings. I did write them down, but they do change later what they say. And then, so we'll start on chapter 5. Who's worthy to open the book? All right, so Revelations 5. And I do have a lot of references, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm trying to understand it and get an idea. So here we go. And I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written with on the backside sealed with 7 seals. All right, so at this point we're going to review Isaiah 29:11. And it says, "And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed." All right, so we know that it's sealed. Ezekiel 2:9-10. "And when I looked, behold, and a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of book was therein. And he spread before... I messed it up. Hold on. And he spread before it... when I clicked on it, it messed it all up. I'm like, where did I go? And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe. And I found that kind of interesting because so I guess the book has a lot of different information in there. So it's going to have sad stuff. I'm not sure what the lamentations, they're in lamentations, mourning and woe. So, and then this one I wanted to read a couple of verses. It's Daniel 12, 1 through 4. And at the time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at the time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So that was interesting to me. Such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at the time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So I guess everybody's written in the book. And many of them sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as a brightness of the firmament, and that they turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So I guess here, I wanted to read all four of them because what's in the book, that's what I felt like these four verses kind of told us. But then, so shut up the words and seal the book. So did Daniel see the book? And knowledge shall be increased. So, I don't know, I kind of went down that rabbit hole too. It's like, all right, how much does Daniel know and what did he see? And I went down the rabbit hole and read a lot on Daniel. I read the whole book. And there's a lot about, a lot of references and revelations. So we'll get to that as we go through later on. But, whoops, sorry. I guess I assumed that maybe he knows what's in the book. So that was an interest to me. All right, back to the Revelations. Chapter 2, or verse 2. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book, and to loose the seven seals thereof. And I behold, and lo, in the midst of the throne, and of the four beasts, and the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials of bowl of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. Oh, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you for the super chat. That means a lot. All right, so I found that interesting that here, so having one of them harps and golden bowl of odors, which are the prayers of saints. So interesting. Full of odors, prayers of saints. All right. I don't know if I can hit the little like button. Oh, I did. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so verse 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou was slain and hast redeemed us to God by the blood out of every kindred, tongue, and people and nation. And hast made us to our king, unto our gods, kings, and priests, and shall reign on the earth. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and beasts, and the elders. And the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands and thousands. I was trying to write that down, like 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands. That was a lot. So I did have another verse to look at that. 7:10. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands and thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. The whole 10,000s and 10,000s. It was driving me crazy. I'm like trying to write it down. Okay, what would this be? What I'm like, forget it. We're just gonna read those words. But that's a lot, right? 10,000 times 10,000 would be what? You have 4 zeros and add another 4 zeros. It's 8 zeros. So it's like 100 million. And that's plus thousands and thousands. I get so stuck on the numbers. It's like I try to draw. I try to write the numbers down so I can really understand it. And then it got me. I said, forget it. That was a lot. That's a lot of people. I think that's the point, right? So, saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom, strength and honor and glory and blessing. And every creature which is in heaven and on earth and under the earth, such are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever. And 4 said, Amen. And the 24 elders fell down and worshipped him that lived forever and ever. So, I just want to go back. There was a question I had here. No, man. I thought it said, okay. So, stood a lamb. I'm looking back at verse 6. Stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, which we learned in chapter 4, what those were, sent forth into all the earth. So I had this question and I'm like playing around with it a little bit. So is the slain lamb Jesus? The only thing that threw me off is having, because other parts made me feel like that. It was root of David, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. But the 7 horns and 7 eyes, I don't think Jesus has 7 horns and 7 eyes. But are they symbols? What do you think? Who do you think the slain stood a lamb and had been slain? Jesus was slain on the cross, right? Maybe I'm thinking of it wrong. So I'm trying to figure out. So the specific question is, who is the lamb that was slain? In my mind, it was Jesus until I read the part about the 7 horns and 7 eyes. Because the part before it made it sound good, which are the 7 spirits of God. So, okay. So let's go back to that for a minute. So the 7 spirits are Lord, wisdom, spirit, understanding, counsel, might, and knowledge. So are you saying Jesus was definitely the lamb? Okay, great. That's what I thought too. That's what I wrote, and then I didn't go back on it. And so maybe he forms differently with the 7 horns and the 7 eyes. But that are the 7, and that represents those 7 spirits. So, all right. Definitely got a little down that rabbit hole. Not that was the rest of the verse. And he came to the book of the right hand. Yes, I thought it was Jesus too, and I had skipped that question, but then I went back to that question because of the 7 horns and 7 eyes. But I see. Sorry, Kathy, I'm not understanding what you mean. No, that was the rest of the verse. Oh, the 7, I see. The 7 spirits of God, those were the representations which gave it understand now. Sorry. All right, next chapter. Make sure, any other questions about chapter 5 before we move on? Okay, so we're going to talk about the seals. And I did this in a kind of a weird way because I felt like 6 kind of threw me for a big loop at one point. And we'll get to that in a minute. All right, here we go. Chapter 6. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering, and to conquer. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. I beheld, and a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of a barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. That one really frustrated me too, because I'm like, all right, they're going to charge us for our food, but don't mess with the oil and don't mess with the wine. I think we see that a lot, right? All right, so let me go back down. We're at 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. All right, so this was the beginning of a really bad rabbit hole. Because here it says, And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. So I'm like, okay, does each horse have different parts of the earth? So this particular pale one will only be over a fourth part to do these things. What about the other ones? So here we go. Zechariah. Yes, Zechariah 1 through, we're going to read Zechariah 1 through 7. And I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. And the first chariot were red horses, and the second chariot black horses, and the third chariot white horses, and the fourth chariot gristled and bay horses, which I'm assuming is pale. That was how I felt about it. Then I answered and said unto the angel that talked with me, What are these, my Lord? And the angel answered and said unto me, These are the 4 spirits of the heavens, which go forth from standing before the Lord of all the earth. The black horses which are therein go forth into the north country, and the white go forth after them, and the gristled go forth to the south country. And the bay went forth, and here I clicked the button again, sorry. And the bay went forth and sought to go after that they might walk to and fro through the earth. And he said, Get you hence, walk to and fro through the earth. So they walked to and fro through the earth. So that's why I did my PowerPoint this way. So north, west, east, south. Is that the case? And if they have a fourth of the part, the north, I'm not sure. Wayne says the book of Revelation can be very ominous. Oh my goodness, it's like all these rabbit holes. I don't know what to do with it all. It's like, trying to figure it out, right? And what does it mean? And then there's, they talk about that on the black horse, where it's going to be, but didn't say that about the other 3 horses. So that's why I went to Zechariah. It was a reference they had. And then I went to the NIV, and the NIV made it even more confusing. And I'm like, all right. And I do have to look at it with my glasses, with my handy dandy magnifying glass. And it made it more confusing, because it says, I looked up again, and there before me were 4 chariots. We read all that part. I wanted to read. The angel answered me, These are the 4 spirits of heaven going out from standing in the presence of the Lord of the whole world. The one with the black horse is going towards the north country, and the one with the white horses are toward the west, and the one with the dappled horses toward the south. And I'm like, all right, so that's not really what Zechariah or Revelation said, but that made sense to some degree. But some of the wording was so different, I'm not sure if I trust the NIV or not trust the NIV. So, but I went ahead and just kind of visualized it for myself. North, west, east, and south, just so I can kind of visualize it. And I'm not sure if this, reading all those different verses, if we can keep visualizing where the horses are and what their parts are, because I don't want to be the part in the hunger. I like to eat. Okay, so let's go back to Revelations, and we're at 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God, and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given to every one of them, and it was said unto them that they shall rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Wow. Okay. That's a lot. It's like people that died in God's name. There's going to be more that's going to die in God's name. And I think that'll happen in tribulations, maybe during the tribulation. I don't know. But interesting. And verse 6. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. So Isaiah 34, 1-4. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all the things that come forth it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up to their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falleth off the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. I did want to say, I'm only do the references from the Old Testament. I don't do references from the New Testament, just because I'm trying to compare what was said before Jesus' time and what was said in Revelations, which was after Jesus' time. So there were some other references I could have used here, but just looking at the Old Testament. And it's interesting how it really describes, it kind of puts an extra oomph into what you're reading in Revelations when you go back to these other verses. To me, it gives me a better visual of what this is going to look like, you know? All right, let me get a drink real quick. Talking so much. All right, so we're at 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. And he said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath has come, and who shall be able to stand? So I've got two more references. Hosea 10:8. The high places also of Avon, the sin of Israel, shall be destroyed. The thorn and the thistle shall come up on their altars, and they shall say to the mountains, Cover us, and to the hills, fall on us. And I don't know how to say this, so we'll try it. Savannah. I want to read this whole chapter. It's pretty short, 18 verses. I think it was the whole chapter, so we'll see. The word of the Lord which came into Savannah, the son of Cushi, the son of Gedaliah, the son of Amari, the son of Hezekiah, in the days of Josiah, the son of Amon, king of Judah. I will utterly consume all things from the land, said the Lord. I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heaven and the fishes of the sea and the stumbling blocks with the wicked. And I will cut off man from the land, said the Lord. I will also stretch out my hand upon Judah and upon all inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off the remnant of Bel from this place, and the name of the Shemarims with the priest, and them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and that swear by the Lord, and that swear by Malcolm, and them that are turned back from the Lord, and those that have not sought the Lord, not inquired for him. Hold that peace at the presence of the Lord God, for the day of the Lord is at hand. For the Lord hath prepared a sacrifice. He hath bid his guest. And it'll show... I clicked the button again. Let me go back just a second here. For prepared the sacrifice, and it shall come to pass. Okay, where was I? And then heaven the housetops, and them that are turned back from the Lord, and those that have not sought the Lord, not inquired for him. Hold that peace at the presence of the Lord God, for the day of the Lord is at hand. For the Lord hath prepared a sacrifice, he had bid his guest. And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice, that I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such as clothed with strange apparel. In the same day also I will punish all those that leap on the threshold, which fill their masters' houses with violence and deceit. And it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Can't remember why I wanted to read this. The day is the day. Okay. We'll keep going. There must be a reason why I had this on my list. And it shall come to pass, said the Lord, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Howl, ye inhabitants of Maktesh, from all the merchant people are cut down, all that they bear silver are cut off. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, and punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil. Therefore their goods shall become a booty, and their houses a dissolution. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. The day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and dissolution, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will begin distress upon them. They shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make it even a speedy riddance of all of them that dwell in the land. I think I just needed to read the bottom part, but for some reason I had the whole chapter. Dwayne says, I would think the four directions would probably signify being all-encompassing. Oh, that's a good point, too. All-encompassing. Because you're going to cover everything. I just want to make sure I'm on the nicest horses area. I don't want to be hungry. And I don't want, let's see. So, conquer, take the peace, balances, and death. So... And then we have the earthquake and the souls. But yes, I think you're right. Like north, south, east, and west. It's just then they say quarters, so I don't know how that works either. But yes, I just want to make sure whichever one is the nicest horses, that's the land I go to. That would be really nice. I don't know. It's definitely interesting if it's a quarter versus north versus south. All-encompassing for sure. And then the souls, I've had discussions about, do I want to be cremated or not cremated? But if I go back to Revelations, it says, where are we at? On the fifth one, they cried a loud voice, white robes were given to them to kill the sword with hunger. Oh, hold on, let's see. I don't remember where it was. It says, okay. They cried, O Lord, holy true. White robes were given. Thought it said something about, and I said under the altar souls of them that were slain for the word of God. So I guess that's a little different. Somewhere, maybe it's a different chapter I was reading where it talks about, I know we just read it, where we come from the, oh, it's one of the references, where we come from the dirt and we come from the sea, we come from everywhere. It's like, okay, so does that mean cremation is okay or not okay? So I kind of look at that too, trying to take it all in. Like, what does it all mean? What is the things that I'm looking at for myself? And plus doing the study, because I kind of want to be cremated just because I just think it's ridiculous how much funeral expenses are these days. And I don't want my family to have to worry about that. Plus, I don't want to be in a concrete vault. So I'm trying to figure out the religious portion of what's okay, what's not okay. I would love to do a green funeral, but it doesn't seem like there's any nearby me. So cremation would make sense right after that, but we'll see. Okay, discussion topics. Here's some questions I had. This is going really fast, but I wanted to take it all in. I didn't want to go any further because I wanted to have a good visual of what all this looks like and be able to understand. So I just said about the horses, and I referenced the NIV. So it does seem like they have specific geographic areas, but I don't think it's very defined per se. You know, is it quarter? Is it north? Is it south? The black horse is defined. We know. Revelation specifically said that the black horse, giving him a great sword, the white horse, the pale horse, and I'll lose my thought. The scene from The Chosen where Jesus is reading from the Torah, he stops and reading from Isaiah before reading about vengeance. And Jesus says, he is here for salvation, not vengeance. That's a good point. But I get that. But I think he's trying to say, when I'm reading this, not so much vengeance for his people, but trying to get rid of the evil, the bad stuff, is how I'm kind of reading this. It's like, all right, so, you know, if you're a follower of God, you're safe. But if you are doing these other things and you're evil, then it's going to be a problem. That's how I kind of take it. He says that is in the future, hence the revelation to John. Yes. I agree. Because this is what's going to happen later. Measure wheat and pity. I got myself confused. There was giving him a great sword. And when he opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. The black horse he set on him with a pair of balances. It says something about, and they cried in a loud voice. And when he opened the third seal, I heard the third beast come and say, behold the black horse, he's on the pair of balances. Somewhere I thought it said, it was a location. Because I've read so much. Then I get myself confused. Alright. I lost it. My mind went. Yes. So, hence the revelation to John. Exactly. I agree. Alright. And then the 24 elders. Anybody have any opinions? Do you think it's the 12 tribes of Israel and the 12 apostles? We know that we answered that question. Yes. All right. Have you? And then I noticed everything has a number 7. So I have this thing like, why is 7 so important? We have the 7 spirits, 7 horns, 7 eyes. We also have 6, but when we go back to chapter 5, he has the 7, which were the 7 spirits. Remember we have the 7 seals, and then the lamb has the 7 horns and the 7 eyes. It's just like 7's this big number. I never knew 7 was a big number, so that's a new one for me. Always heard, there's certain numbers you are unaware of, but I didn't realize 7 was such a big number. All right. So here's my big, what do you call it? My big rabbit hole. I don't know why it's bothering me, but it's really bothering me. What is Israel? And what is the thing? You hear all of this stuff about it in the news. And, I was thinking maybe part of my problem with certain churches and stuff is I get lazy and I listen to whatever they're preaching. Okay, I did my Christian duty, but when I don't, and I do my devotions and I do my own research, then I start looking at things differently. I go down these rabbit holes and I start asking questions. The devotion today was about asking questions. So things get laid on my heart and then I can't stop asking questions. All right, Wayne says 7 being even significant on Earth, given we have 7 days in a week. That's true. And 7 continents, right? 7 is a huge thing. And I'm going to do some research on the number 7. 7 is everywhere. It's so interesting. I never really paid attention to the number 7 before. So, in Genesis 32:32 was the first mention of Israel. And if you read that, it's Jacob's children, right? And so Jacob is being called Israel, and the children of Israel is actually the children of Jacob. And when I did my research and looking not only in Genesis, but also on Google and different things, they're saying Jacob and Israel are used simultaneously. I don't think that's the right word, but they're used interchangeably. So that made it interesting. Okay, so sometimes when you hear Israel, it really means Jacob. I had no idea. So this is the first I'm learning about this. Like I said, you can look it up in Genesis 32:32. That's the first mention of Israel. And according to Google and everything, Israel means struggles with God. There was another one that was, I wrote it down somewhere, that was similar to that. Struggles with God and fighting with God or something. And then to find out that Jerusalem is in Palestine was Philistia in biblical days. I don't know if I still have that map up or not. I have the old map. I don't have the new map. I don't have the old maps. I have the new maps up. I thought I still had that one. So where Israel was is Canaan. And so then what I'm looking for is, then when did Israel become Israel? And I have all these maps in my reference book, and it's kind of confusing. Like, because you see, they call it like Old Jerusalem or Old Israel. And it's not real clear to me when Israel became an actual place. But I do know it falls in 722 BC. And then it's not even a country or anything again until 1948. Almost, 2,000 years later, it becomes a nation. So that was a red flag for me. And then I just wrote myself a little note there that in Genesis and Exodus, it talks about taking the children of Israel out of Egypt. So I was confused because there wasn't an Israel at that point. So again, are we doing children of Jacob? And Jacob's children are the 12 tribes of Israel. And I found this to be really interesting, and I wrote myself a little note there. I'm mainly searching this because, whenever I did my introduction to Revelations, it talks about what's your view of the end times. And my view, I think, is, it talks about the Israel question. And I think my thing is, I feel like it's not Israel, the country. And I used to always feel that way. I didn't realize it wasn't. The actual question is the modern state of Israel relevant to the prophecies in Revelation? And out of the 4 views, only one says yes. The other views say no. And I kind of am at the know now after doing a little bit of research. I still want to do a lot more, because when did Israel become a country or have the land? But is the modern state of Israel relevant to the prophecies and revelations? And I'm kind of going with the other 3 views where they said no. And I never thought I would feel that way, but I do now. So yes, that's where I'm at on that. Any opinions about Israel and about that information? Do you agree that, I mean, I can pull it up too. Genesis 32:32. Whoops. And of course, I lose it. Okay. So, well, let me pull it up. I really like this website. It makes it makes it super easy to get to the verse that you're wanting. All right. So here they're talking about Jacob, and he's talking to God. Then therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day, because he touched the hollows of Jacob's thigh and the sinew that shrank. So they're just talking about, I did read the whole verse, or whole chapter. And Jacob asked him and tell him, I pray thee thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And he passed over Peniel. The sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sin which shrank. So, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Israel is equal to Jacob? That's kind of what that's what I've kind of gathered so far. So that's what I have for that hole. What do you call it? That rabbit hole. All right. So that's all I have. It didn't last as long as I expected. Chapter 28 of what? Genesis, Miss Kathy, verse 28. Chapter 28 in Genesis. I don't have a 28:28. Oh, verse 28. Maybe she's talking about here. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. Thank you, Kathy. Yes, I knew it was somewhere. Your name will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. That's right. I appreciate that. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For a prince hast thou power the God with the man, and hast prevailed. I read all of this stuff, and then I forget, get nervous, or my notes are a little sloppy. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So for me, it made me think different of what Israel is when we talk about it in the Bible. And I wanted to bring that up. And I appreciate you showing me that, Kathy. I don't know why I forgot. So I just feel like maybe we're misunderstanding what some of the Israel stuff is, and we're all children of Israel because we're all descendants of Jacob. Maybe. It's my thought. That's where I wrote that. Researching the subject because are Christians children of Israel. Not a nation, but people. So not a nation, but people. Exactly. Children of Israel is the descendants of Jacob. Abraham and Jacob. And I went down the whole Abraham thing to get to the Jacob. And I started reading it. Genesis 15. It talks about Abraham and reference Genesis 15 and 17 when I was looking at the Israel to get to the Jacob portion of this. But yes, I think it's all, that's what I'm leading to. The next part that I'm hoping to kind of learn in the next week, when did it become a country, is what I'm hoping to understand. That's my question to you guys. When did Israel become a country? I can't find that. I do have a lot of maps, and it shows in this reference it shows the Holy Land, and then, but when I look back, it gives me the 12 tribes of Israel. Well, it says Canaan divided by the 12 tribes, because Canaan was actually the Israel, I guess, that land. And it does talk, oh, that's why Genesis 15 and 17 are important, because it talks about God giving Abraham's descendants the land from the Red Sea to the Euphrates River. And that's the land that the 12 tribes is supposed to be, his descendants are supposed to have, that God has promised them. And so that isn't quite Israel, like the nation that we know as. So, it's Iran. It's, I don't have the current map up. I do here, though. Because I really, zoned in on this. So here's the Red Sea. And then the Euphrates River is, and I looked it up, is in Iraq, not Iran. My bad. So here's the Euphrates River, right? It looks like pretty scenery. All right. So there's the Euphrates River. I don't want to lose it. It made me, okay. And here's the Red Sea. So this land is supposed to be, I'm pretty sure that's the Red Sea, right? Yes. Red Sea to the Euphrates River is the land that God promised Abraham and his descendants. That's a lot of land. I just found that interesting too. So that's in Genesis 15 and 17. And then in Genesis 32, it talks about Jacob, now Israel, and his children are the children of Israel. So we're descendants. If you think about how all this works, then we would be the children of Israel as well. And so, and in Daniel, it says that, the tribulation and all these things aren't going to happen until the word is out to all the nations about God. And so I find that interesting too. And then we have these platforms and we're getting the word out, and it could be, they can translate it to any language they want. So the language barrier isn't a problem anymore. And it's just really exciting. I'm really excited about doing this. And I'm probably wearing you guys out a little bit, but I just get excited and I get down these rabbit holes. All right. So that's all I have for the day. These are probably only going to last an hour. I think it's a lot to take in, for me anyway. And this is where I stopped. The last time I started this study by myself, this is where I stopped. Chapter 6. So I haven't done any. So I've got to bounce off some ideas on my old notes. But this is like new territory. This is going to be new territory for me for next week. All right. Thank you, Wayne. I put you down on the prayer request. Do you have any prayer requests before you leave? I appreciate you being here. And does anybody have any prayer requests? Adrian's uncle is still on there for Levi. And that's all I have at this point. And Wayne, let me write Wayne down for his rehab. My sticky went off. All right. Any other prayer requests? As I said, I've been studying Daniel, so I want to leave you guys with this verse. Daniel 4:3. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. I just thought that was an amazing verse, right? I liked it. I appreciate the super chat, Miss Kathy. No, just praying for all who suffer and for peace. I like that. I will write that on the board. I appreciate that. Yes, peace would be great. The government is opening back up, so that's good news. Hopefully everybody will get their food stamps and get their assistance and get back to work and get their back pay. That would be fantastic. Yes, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate it. Next week, I'm hoping to do. I'm gonna work on 7 through 10, but it might just be two chapters, and this will probably just start being 1 hour long lives. So thank you all. I appreciate it. I hope you learned something. And my email's down in the description if you have any suggestions or ideas, or leave a comment. So have a good day. Bye bye.